From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Heyo.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. As always, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. And we just got done last week having our bingo night. It was a great time, and I'm checking out their new Toga beer. This is my first time trying it. It's a Belgian wit beer.
Same for me. Yeah, man, it's not bad. It's not my favorite of theirs. I had some of their Cryotron, which is what I drank on, and loved it. So hopefully, we haven't heard any word from anybody yet, Bobby, about the friends thing. So I'm hoping you all made some new friends.
I know they did.
Yeah. So what a great time, dude. We had a 4-person dance off on a picture frame, dude. It was improbable, brother. It was improbable. So, awesome time. Really appreciated them having us out. I'm sure we'll be out again as soon as they'll let us.
Yeah. Yeah. Today we are covering a bunch of news. We have got our mid-season awards repick. For those of you that don't know what that is, stay tuned and you'll find out. For those of you that do know, I know that you are probably sitting there saying, "Oh, these idiots picked so wrong in the beginning of the year," and for the most part, you're right. We've got some news from outside the NHL. We've got our games of the week, and we've got some news that you'll just have to bear in mind when we tell you. And talking a little bit of Mando season 3, which I haven't seen yet, so I'm going in having no clue. Yeah. I'm getting caught up on Andor first, but I'll be talking about Andor as well. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon, Twitch to support this show. I'll be putting out, obviously, this show releases on Thursday, but yesterday, hopefully you guys tuned in. I'll be doing a co-stream on our channel with the amazing Riggs Rex. She is another streamer. We'll be playing some Escape the Backrooms, a horror game that I know nothing about, but apparently super fucking scary. A lot of jump scares, so I'm excited to check that out. And I'll be starting Elden Ring for the first time, which is my first ever Souls game. So I'm probably gonna get my ass whooped a bunch.
Really interesting spot to start. I've heard. That's you're kind of going into the fire, aren't you? So good luck.
Well, they said everyone said Elden Ring's a little bit easier than Dark Souls.
Okay,
it's a different story. Good. So yeah.
Sure.
It's still insanely hard because Dark Souls is like brutal. Like you have to be into like BDSM to want to play that kind of stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling about it when I get done with it. But yeah. But how are you this week, dude?
Great, man. Had a great, as you just heard, had a great time at Mayday. Just got the new box in, brother. You were running a little late today, and you kept apologizing profusely. And I'm going to be honest with you, you could have been later. I was getting everything geared up and playing some Hogwarts Legacy, which I've been a little behind on. So, super pumped about that. Probably not going to be doing a whole lot other than that. But what about you, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Went to a concert last night. Went to go see Steel Panther with the wife, the sister-in-law, and brother-in-law, and had a good time. It was over at Marathon Music Works, which is always a dope place. Late last week I applied for grad school at MTSU. Today got the acceptance letter for that, so that's dope. So I'll be going to get my master's and getting a teaching degree. Just overall, just been busy. How about a quick fit check, dude? What are you rocking for today's episode?
Yeah, man. I went with the new Mayday shirt that the Pops got me when we went to. We brought them along. Usually your mom is there, but my folks came along, so. I think it's like their 10th anniversary. There's something on the back here.
Yeah, their 10th anniversary. Yeah.
So, but also just the standard state traditions Tennessee hat here. Got the state flag and the Preds colors. So You know, just keeping it low key today. What about you, man? I'm loving the shirt.
Yeah, dude, his little Hawaiian shirt, and standing with my boy Ja, with the Grizz hat. So
But you,
just
hey, standing with him. It's a smart plan. I wouldn't.
Don't want to stand against him.
You standing against him. You got some huevos, okay? So, so smart move, and you're not. You are you, Bobby. So you're not known for this being the smartest guy in the room. So I commend you. Hats off to you.
Yeah.
Or hats on, Ja. Or hats on, Ja. Whatever.
Let's hop into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
We've got a save of the year candidate, James Reimer from the Sharks. Just made an absolute amazing save against the Jets. We'll have the link in the show description to check it out. But hey, it's getting to be that time of year. We're starting to get our I guess plays of the year candidates up and running. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
We're adding some more to that. But this is a sick one. I'm watching the slow mo right now. I mean, that's just. Don't watch it in full speed. Full speed doesn't do the save justice. Watch it in slow mo, and it's a beaut.
Watching it in full speed after you know what happens is more amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you catch that slow mo. But essentially, my man, literally scorpion say like he got it with his skate. I mean, it looked like it was at the bottom of the skate, not even like the boot of the skate. So made a man made old boy almost break his stick on the glass type of mad. I mean, it was he bailed out Carlson pretty good there. So yeah, man, that's definitely going to be awesome. I'm super excited for our awards and who we kind of narrow these down to. Couldn't remember if we had a save of the year candidate, but that was a goal where we add one, right? Or a save where we add the category. We may even name it the James Reimer Scorpion Save Memorial. This is the best thing James Reimer's ever done in his life. So, but some sad news out of Toronto for one of their trade candidates. I think we're going to do a trade, review all of the trades and how they're impacting the teams. Ryan O'Reilly, who we talked about last week, hitting a Hattie, going on the long-term IR with a broken finger. So a tough blow for the Leafs. I mean, they were talking minimum of about 4 weeks. Well, if you add you had about a month, that puts him about going into the playoffs. So he'll be there in time for a round 1 loss. It sounds like.
Nice. Hell yeah. But yeah, so that we have an NHL stay. Let's do a quick NHL standings update before we move on. I'm actually going to pull them up because I closed it. But I can tell you without looking at them that the Bruins are on top. Are we doing the full league, or
we'll just do cinch? Yeah, we'll just do all different conferences. So you want to start with the Atlantic? You already gave us the spoiler alert. Top team in the league right now.
Yeah, so we'll just do like the top 5. We don't have to go all the way through, but we got Bruins up at 1, Hurricanes, far second at 90 points, 13 points behind the Bruins. Then we got the Devils at 88, the Leafs at 84, and then Tampa and Rangers both at 79 points. But right now, Tampa with the tiebreaker. So it's a race to, I guess, the only competitive thing here is second place, really. In that conference.
Yeah, I mean, as far as for the President's Cup, most certainly. Definitely some surprised at the Central, where some teams are sitting currently. Colorado and the second wild card, again, only 61 games played, so could most certainly move up. But Winnipeg is having a great year. Also the Kings and Seattle. This is kind of what we expected last year, really, almost the Vegas and the Kings minus Calgary. So Yeah, man. I mean, it's as President's Cup seems pretty locked up. I mean, unless the Bruins have a massively different back end here, less than 20 games left. I don't see any way that they lose this spot. I mean, they're 13 points ahead of Carolina right now. So, who are you surprised about? Buffalo outside of a spot right now, but have had most certainly a great stellar season so far. Pittsburgh sitting in that final wild card spot at 71 points.
Yeah,
I
I think the
man.
biggest surprise is that, I think the Devils are surprised, honestly. They really did an amazing job rebuilding, and I think they're surprising everyone. But I thought they would be competitive for a playoff spot, but man, they're competitive to maybe get the, to beat out Carolina. They're a plus
they're 2
53
points
goal
behind.
differential. They're doing really well.
Only 2 points behind and one game more played than Carolina. So yeah, I agree, New Jersey, but it's the Bruins. You kind of always expect to be there in that playoff spot, but I'm gonna have to say the Bruins are probably the most surprising. Jim Montgomery has come in as a new coach and pretty much done this with not a lot of new pieces. I mean, not a hugely different roster. Plus or minus a few guys, but not huge noteworthy changes to this roster. So that's just right now plus 105 goal differential. That is pretty substantial. So yeah, man, it'd be interesting to see who can take them down in a 7-game series.
Yeah. So what are we looking like in the Western Conference?
Yeah, Dallas, Minnesota, Winnipeg are your Central, and Vegas, Los Angeles, Seattle are your Pacific. Your wild card teams are currently Edmonton and Colorado. So honestly, the next wild card team out is the Predators. This is much more of what I expected, plus or minus the Flames, maybe. I guess you could be a little bit surprised by them not being a little higher, but pretty much par for the course, plus or minus where folks are ranked, I guess. What about you? Any real surprises to you there?
Yeah, I'm shocked that Vegas is on top. Obviously the Kings are. I think the biggest surprise to me is Seattle. Maybe Colorado only being at 74 points. I thought Colorado would be.
Colorado honestly, I thought 61 games played. To be fair,
yeah, but I honestly thought that. I thought Colorado would be. Okay, sorry. For some reason, my Eastern Conference and Western Conference are being sorted two different ways. So on my Western Conference, games played are in the far left, and in my Eastern Conference, the losses are in the far left. And I'm like, what is happening? So yeah, I thought Colorado. I was like, Colorado has 61 losses. That can't be right.
No, 61. Only 61 games played, which is 2 less than Vegas.
Yeah,
3 less than Dallas.
But I thought they would be sitting closer to where Carolina is this season, and they are. They're not doing too hot now. They've had some injuries. Hopefully, they kind of step it up. But overall, the Western Conference is not too great compared to. The best team would be 5th in the Eastern. So
not
it's
a lot of fight.
Not great right now.
Not a lot of fight, not a lot of shuffling around. Nashville is still in contention for one of those playoff spots, which is they really shouldn't. They have 61 games played as well and are only 5 points behind Colorado. So it's definitely a weaker Western Conference this year with some strong teams and a strong year for a lot of guys. Logan Thompson for Vegas has really moved them up a notch in my mind, kind of something that they were missing. So, we got about 18 games, 18 to 21 games, depending on who you are. So,
yeah, let's move into outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
Ja Morant suspended 2 games by the NBA out indefinitely, according to the Grizz. This is after he brandished a firearm at a club, and it was posted on Instagram Live.
No, I think he posted. I think he posted it on Instagram Live.
Yes.
Right. I think he was.
Yes.
Let's give credit where credit is due. He didn't just get caught, with a gun somewhere. Somebody caught him. He told everybody. He was pretty.
Yeah. The source is Ja Morant. But this comes after, I think, a year or two after brandishing a firearm against a minor at a pickup basketball game. We don't have we don't have the details on that, and I don't think I think this story was getting blown out where people were thinking he pulled a gun on like a 5-year-old. I think he pulled a gun on like a 17-year-old, and he said he claimed it was in self-defense after a pickup game. So I mean, let's not act like he was out there pulling guns on children. But you still can't be doing that stuff.
I love Ja. He's a great basketball player. He's electric. Go Grizz. But I mean, the man's is out here trying to pretend like he's some hard guy with some rough upbringing. I mean, he was, middle class, well off kid. You know,
his real name is Clarence.
Yeah, Clarence's parents have a real good marriage. You know what I'm saying? It's just silly. It's really unfortunate. And where I'm upset, Bobby, is he's on my fantasy basketball team. And something that we didn't talk about was that this was the week of Bobby and Brandon. In every single one of our leagues, minus one, we played each other, including basketball, for the hockeys. I beat you in basketball. Let me see. I forget what happened in all of the other ones, so I'm gonna need to check that out.
I will say, and I forgot to tell you this last week, I got locked out on my Yahoo account. I haven't been able to set my lineups in like 2 weeks.
Well, then you need to figure that out, bro, because I'll drop you. But yeah, I think it was a pretty.
I mean, I'm in the middle. I sent an email to customer service. I'm like waiting to hear back, and it's just a whole fucking process. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna send an email to this email. I'm like, that's the Yahoo email I'm locked out of. It's like,
right.
So yeah,
you don't got a recovery email. You're just like
I do, but for some reason it's an old email. I think it was. But either way, it's getting taken care of. But either way, how'd the rest of those games go?
I was pretty mixed bag.
Yeah.
I mean, it went okay.
Yeah.
But
okay.
It was just weird. We had so many games against each other.
Yeah.
Like 4 leagues or something.
Yeah. Vikings receiver KJ Osborne saves man's life by ovulating him from a burning car. I feel like that's I don't like that word being used, ovulating him from a burning car.
I don't think that was the right word. By pulling him.
Okay. I'm just reading what was. I'm just reading what's on the teleprompter.
It was. I'm Ron Bergen. No, it was pulling. This was a correction. So, you just read it. You just straight up read it. Ovulating him from a car. Yeah, I mean, he was the guy was not properly ovulating, and KJ Osborne, being the good guy that he is, he's like, I got to get this guy ovulating. No, he pulled him from a burning car. The context clues were not strong with you. You just read right through it, man. I'm like looking at it. I would have pulled up and been like, "Hey, why does this say this word?" But yeah, what a cool thing. Pulling a dude from a burning car. Maybe I'll go trade for him in the Dynasty League.
Hey, well, I do have him on my taxi squad, I think. So, I mean, if this gives him extra points. Well, maybe hero points. Maybe he gets like an extra 100 points next season overall. I don't know.
Okay,
we'll bring it up.
well, I'm gonna trade for him, and then we'll make that new rule, buddy. Hero points.
Comeback player of the year, Geno Smith just got a $105 million 3-year deal. Whew, I think.
Not too bad.
I think. What's his name? Jones just got his contract from the Giants. I didn't see what it was though, Daniel.
I didn't see either, but Barkley just got the franchise tag. So
yeah,
If you want to look up what Daniel
Yeah,
Jones
I'm pulling
got,
up right now. I don't know if it was as much as he wanted. Jones will make $82 million guaranteed at signing as part of the deal. 4-year, $160 million deal.
not bad. About $40 million a year.
So
About what we talked about. It's about right.
I think he said originally. I think he said he wanted 45, somewhere around that ballpark. So
I think he was up to 50. Remember, or at least his agent released 50.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Mahomes. Pete Rose. I'm sorry. That was Calvin Ridley reinstated by the NFL.
I called it. I told you he'd be reinstated.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty. I mean, the Jags wouldn't have traded for him if they didn't think it was pretty clear he was going to be reinstated. That is a dangerous team there.
It is.
As a dynasty coach of Calvin Ridley, the only time I'm going to let him bet anymore is if he tells me who he's betting for. So at least it makes it worth my time. Yeah, man. Out a little over a year and a half. Is that about right? I mean, it was about midway. It was October. It was Halloween. Or thereabouts.
And I think it was like 2 weeks ago that when we were talking about, coming up surprises, and I still stand by it. I think Calvin Ridley, I don't think he's going to get the Triple Crown, but I think he's going to get touchdowns and yards this year. I think he's going to have himself an explosive season.
Preach, brother. Preach. I'm trying to coach him up, man. I'm trying to coach him up. I'm trying to get him back into shape. That's going to be the big thing. How in shape has he been staying? Because that's a long time out of the NFL. He's an athlete. He's the guy that can do it, but you hope it's sooner rather than later. So good to see that happen before training camp, all these OTAs and stuff that are coming up. Can probably talk to his coaches and teammates now. So
one other thing not on here is I saw this morning that the Jets and Packers have been in discussion for over Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers could be heading to the Jets.
We'll see. I'm sure he has a no trade clause, so we'll see if he is interested in that or not. This is just great news for me as a dynasty.
The source, according to the source, this multiple sources, Jets were originally in talk with Aaron Rodgers and then with the Packers. So he could be waiving his no trade clause.
Well, I traded, Aaron Rodgers away last season, but I have Jordan Love sitting there on my taxi squad. So to have a new, fresh QB is always nice in a Superflex Dynasty League. So the rich get richer, Bobby. The rich get richer.
Let's move into our main topic of the day, our mid-season award show repicks. So beginning of every hockey season, we pick our, who we think are going to win the major awards. The Cup, the President's Cup, the Hart, the Calder, the Vezina, the Norris, the Art Ross, the Selke, the Jack Adams, the Rocket Richard, Team of the Year. Halfway through the year, we're doing a couple weeks, maybe about a week or two later. Usually we do it around the All-Star break, but we did this year. We go through and we review what we picked, and we are allowed to make some slight changes, except for one of our picks, which we tripled down on, and that's locked in, unless they are injured at the repicking or All-Star break. I think we decided.
1 point. Yeah. So I do remember now, each pick is worth 2 points total, but only 1 point if you re-choose, but you get double the chances. So either of your guys can win. And then you get 3 points for your McDavid. Or no, it's 4 points. I think it's it's 6 points, right? Because it's a triple down. But you cannot change it and only change it for a chance of 1 point if they're injured. But we don't have to worry about that this year. We don't have to go into the details. So do we want to go 1-1 or do you want to go? I think we should go 1-1 since we are so close. Since we did it a little later this year, we had probably a lot of the same answers. We're a lot closer to decision time.
This late in the season, the cream starts to rise at the top. And, those final numbers are pretty locked in. Not fully locked in, but they're pretty confident. So let's start with the Cup. We both chose the Colorado Avalanche as our preseason prediction. I'm sticking with that, just because I want those 2 points. And yes, the Bruins, I think, are a lock for the President's Cup. They are the favorite, but that's the thing with the Stanley Cup Finals. Anything could happen. And
absolutely.
the Avs are a team that could, honestly, I think it's worth that extra point because there is, in my opinion, there is just as much of a chance that the Avs win it as neither of these two teams winning it.
Honestly, I changed mine. I went to the Avs and the Bruins, so I have 2 chances. This is the one where if you yourself would have changed, I probably would have done what you did because I still like that pick. This is the one that is not as easy to call. So I liked that, giving me that double chances to get that 1 point if it's not the Avs. And still get a point to match your 2 points if you get it. So I think that
there's also
Go ahead.
There's also the case that the Avs have a much easier path to the actual Stanley Cup than the Bruins do.
Absolutely. You get beat up along that way. The President's Cup trophy's not usually your winner. I think it's pretty clear with the President's Cup. I mean, that'll move us into the President's Cup. We both had the Avs for that, but we both made the same change to go to the Bruins here. That's just doubling your odds. The Avs aren't winning it at this point, really, unless they go on like a 20-game winning streak and the Bruins fall off hard. I just think that the President's Cup is an easy change, as a lot of these were.
Yeah. On to the heart. This was my triple down. Connor McDavid. I think that it is a. I couldn't imagine not picking Connor McDavid at the beginning of the year, and I still stick to that. I mean, he is a shoo-in for that. He's just so far above the rest at this point in the season that even if he gets injured right now, and knock on wood, he won't, I think he could still win it if he does. If he were not to play another game this season, I think the only person that might overtake him is Draisaitl.
Yeah, that is probably going to be the difference maker for you. Because I went with Austin Matthews. I wanted to be a little different. Obviously, I've switched to Connor McDavid. Again, I agree with all of the points you just made. There's not really much chance of anybody else winning it. Definitely not Matthews. So I'm hoping to get that single point compared to your 6 points. That may hurt me a little bit. But no worries. We move on to the Calder. I had Mason McTavish from the Ducks. He started strong. He has not continued as strong, especially as much as this next guy that I'm going to pick, and I believe you transitioned as well, Matty Beniers. I think it's an easy money pick right now. It's going to be hard for him to lose that spot.
Yeah, I originally had Marco Rossi, who I think may have gotten. He's only played 16 games this season, 1 assist and 1 point. He was kind of as of right now, a bust for a 9th overall pick.
Definitely a bust for a Calder.
Yes, 100%. But Matty Beniers is sitting at 54 points. 45 points this season at 61. He's played all of the games pretty much at 61. I think that's a lock for the Calder. And he was the second pick overall. The moving on to the Vezina, I originally had Igor Shesterkin, and that just it's just not working out this season. So I think we both switched to the same person, and that's Linus Ullmark, who is just absolutely just destroying the competition.
Yeah, I had Vasi, but Ullmark again. Part of that 103 points that the Bruins have put together as their main goaltender. It's going to be an easy choice to switch there. Norris, again, an easy choice for both of us this deep. There is not anyone of the most important things that comes to winning a Norris these days is points. There's no one even close to, I think it's 82. Is that correct? Carlson's 82.
Something like that, yeah.
Switched mine from Roman Josi to Erik Karlsson. Josi is in no danger of winning it this year. So Karlsson, I'm hoping he gets me the point. Who did you have originally?
I originally had Cale Makar, who has been suffering from some injuries this season, and he only has 48 games played. And I don't know when his timetable is. So I think just that. I think he would have been a contender, but with these injuries, he's kind of out of that race. So I also went with Karlsson. I think that's just He's so far ahead of the
For
competition right now.
For sure.
For the Art Ross, we both have the same thing, what we originally went with, which was Connor McDavid. I think, that
this is
we've
my
already spoken
triple
on
down.
Connor McDavid for the most part.
This is my triple down. The fact that you didn't have to change yours on the same triple down was helpful to you because you can still get those 2 points to cut a little bit. Selke, I mean the fates really just laughed at us. Why?
Yeah,
Why we both put Barkov and not the correct answer of Bergeron is beyond me. But we will share in that pain together. We will take 1 point or no points home if we're wrong for the Selke.
Yeah. And then the Jack Adams, we again are both on the same page here. We both had Gerard Gallant, which at the beginning of the season we were both like, "Oh, this looks good." We both like this, and now, I mean, first year coach Jim Montgomery doing what he's doing is just, I mean, I don't see how he doesn't take this home.
It's hard. It will be hard for him to not take it home. I think Gallant still has that opportunity, depending on this last stretch of the Rangers. What he does with these new pieces, he puts together a new line that kind of goes crazy. I think it's possible, but I agree. It's going to be hard for Montgomery to win this, but I think we both have a good option for those. Rocket Richard.
Moving on to the Rocket Richard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rocket Richard. We both had Austin Matthews. Injuries have really plagued that, but I mean, you can say injuries have plagued it. Connor McDavid has really thwarted this more than injuries would have. I mean, Austin Matthews could be right there along with him, but McDavid is sitting at 54 goals right now, 10 above David Pastrnak, who could come back, could be there, but I mean, not if McDavid continues at the clip he is at right now.
Yeah. Then GM of the year, we actually differ on this on both accounts. So I think this is maybe the first time we've done this. They're here, but my preseason pick is laughable. I had David Poile, who shockingly, quote unquote, has retired, so he's no longer.
I had Lou Lamoriello last year, so
yeah. So I'm confident David Poile's not going to be GM of the year, but I went ahead and went with Don Sweeney just because he's up there in Boston. I think I think that the Jack Adams and the GM this year are going to be a little connected because Don Sweeney brought in Jim Montgomery, and I think they're going to look at that. I think that what you changed to was a very solid pick, but I wanted to be a little bit different. I would if I was a betting man, which I am, I would probably go with your pick over mine, but I wanted it to be a little bit different.
Yeah, your grace is probably what may save me. I mean, I may gain that extra point back that you miss out on. So I appreciate it, but I mean, hey, I don't disagree with your thought process. I mean, Don Sweeney is a good option. A guy that goes and gives a first year coach an opportunity and has 103 points in 64 games.
Yeah,
that's good delegation. That's good management.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
if Boston didn't have so many points, if they were a little bit more down to earth, I think that you have it locked up. But I think that Boston's numbers just being so high kind of might just brute force him way into the GM of the year.
Yeah. Ron Francis, he's just done such a good job after teams really learned what they should and shouldn't do with Vegas. A lot of learning curves in this new protection style for expansion teams. And he really stepped it up, including signings, who he got, on the team, who he picked from other teams. It'll be hard to beat him, but I think you have the only guy that's in real contention.
Yeah. But all right, let's move into our games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All right, we are yet again neck and neck. After last week, the record, I'm sitting at 53-38. Brandon is sitting at 52-37-1. I mean, just an absolute, it is so close. As far as the money goes, I'm sitting at $96.39. He is sitting at $99.77. So just neck and neck. And it's very competitive this year.
It would have, I got super lucky that my Dallas Avalanche game, my puck line pick ended up being Dallas -1.5. So I pretty much doubled my money there. That was super helpful to pull ahead. I mean, I'm sure that after 2 weeks ago, I felt like absolute garbage going 1-4. Really kind of pulling me out of contention in my thought process. Then you come back with an 0-5 week, giving me new light, and then we kind of clashed here this week. So good picks for sure. Let's get this going. I believe that you are up first on the draft board, sir.
Yeah, I am taking Dallas at Buffalo this Thursday at 6 p.m. and I'm going to take Buffalo puck line.
Okay, wow. Are you hoping that they are?
I'm hoping
positive?
that Buffalo is favored.
Okay, so you want the?
I'm hoping that Buffalo is. Yeah, I mean Dallas is sitting there at 81 points. Buffalo sitting there at 68. I think you know what? No, because I think that Buffalo is going to be plus 1.5 now that I'm looking at it. I'm just going to take them.
I'll give you a single. I'll give you a single call if you want to go. If you want to put -1.5 in there, as long as we have it called beforehand.
Yeah. I think
if we usually give
-1.5.
I think we have usually one.
If they're -1.5, then I want to take Buffalo. If not, then I'm just going to take Buffalo money.
You can take alternate line. You can go in and take. You can get them -1.5. Yeah, I mean, You don't even have to put alt line. We'll just know. I'll just know it's the -1.5. So I am gonna go go over to the West Coast. Senators playing the Kraken on the 9th at 9 p.m. That's Thursday. I'm going Kraken puck line. This is a team that has played very well this year. Yeah. Senators are doing okay, but I think the Kraken at home are going to take that. So, and I'll accept either. If they are not favored for whatever reason, I will accept the +1.5
on that. Going into Friday,
a terrible Friday for games.
Yeah. I've got Anaheim at Calgary. I'm taking Calgary. I want to take puck line, but I don't know, man. They're just two not very good teams. I don't know what the value is going to be there. I think I'm just going to take Calgary money line.
Okay. I don't hate that. I'm going to go, and then the only other game that night, the Blackhawks playing the Panthers. That's at 6 p.m. I'm going to go Panthers. They're not having a great season, but the Blackhawks are trading away everybody. I'm going to go Panthers puck line. I'm sure they're going to be favored.
The reason I didn't take that one is that looked like a trap game. I didn't feel confident either one. If I had taken that, I wouldn't have been confident either way.
I don't feel confident in my Panthers pick, but that's I'm gonna go with puck line to try to make a little money off of it.
Yeah,
I'm more confident in the Panthers than I am the Blackhawks at this point. So definitely could be a trap game. I understand that completely, but I'm gonna take the better the worse odds here, but the better chance to win.
Yeah. On Saturday, I've got actually. Why don't you go first? Your Saturday game's up first.
I got a 4 p.m. Saturday game. Rangers and going back to a friendly Sabres team playing at Buffalo. I didn't hate your pick on the Dallas. I think that they can pull that out. I am going to take I'm going to go with Rangers puck line. I don't know that they'll be favored, but I will accept covering a little bit of losses in case they aren't able to win by 2 or they're +1.5. So I'm going to go with Rangers puck line.
So on 6 p.m. at Saturday, I made a last minute change. I originally had Vegas over Carolina in Carolina, and I was going to take my line, but I tilted. I'm changing. I'm taking Carolina to win puck line against Vegas.
I mean, Carolina's been looking hot. I hated not taking their puck line last week against the Lightning. They won 6-0, so should have had that one. So,
yeah.
You got
all right. So
I was gonna say
for Sunday there's a matinee game. I've got Boston at Detroit. I'm taking. I think ball. I mean, hey, got to put a Boston game in. And so I've got their matinee game against Detroit, and I'm going to take them puck line.
Yeah, easy money.
I might if I see -2.5, I might take that as well on the side of this. But
yeah,
I think Boston goes in there and gets the job done.
Don't hate that. Detroit's been playing decently lately. I might go in and find that game and take the over on that.
I kind of like that too.
Okay, so going to my Sunday game, I got Vegas playing the Blues. This is at St. Louis, the 12th at 6 p.m. I'm going to stick with my little theme here, Bobby. I really liked that making that money, so I'm going to go Vegas puck line.
Nice.
And I want to guarantee that at -1.5, if that's cool. I'm sure it will be, but I want to make that my guarantee.
Yeah. And why don't you wrap us up with your games with your last game of the week?
Have the Avs playing the Habs Monday at 6:30 p.m. I'm going to go with the Avs. They are a team that we, could be doing better. The Habs are a team that are weird, and every time I pick against them puck line, I tend to eat my words and lose it all completely. So I'm just going to go with the Avs money line. I'm sure it won't be a lot. I'm sure it'll be like -200 or 260 or so. But I think that, you know what? No, I'm going puck line. Easy money. Easy money. Easy money. I talked myself into it.
All right. So for my last one, I've got Dallas at Seattle, and I mean, I'm just taking Seattle money line. I think that they are playing well, and I think they win at home.
I like it. Picked against Dallas twice today, huh?
Yeah. All right.
Well, move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him.
Let's move into joke of the week.
The weird.
Corey Perry.
Yeah, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
I saw this one, but you put it on here. What are we talking about?
Never push a slower friend down. If you cross a bear, officials say, here's how you can both stay safe. First of all, this is silly. If you're the faster friend, you have zero need to push down your other friend.
Yeah.
It would slow you down. If you are the slower friend, you push the faster friend down. Or, Bobby, you had a good suggestion. Run in opposite direction of your fast friend and hope they choose him. My thing is I mean, I'll push down anybody. It's a bear, bro. It's a bear. I'm not going to remember this article I read one time. But essentially, as the warmer weather returns, bears will also come out of hibernation. Bobby, which we have determined, I think, on the podcast, is not just an animal going to sleep all winter, which still blows my mind, dude. It blows my mind. Like, I thought it was legit, like Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you happen to run into an officials say you should never push down the slower friend so that you can get away. The Park Service shared some advice on Tuesday that you should refrain from pushing someone down, even if you feel the friendship has run its course. So they're even including, if not, why friend-shaped? What about your other friend? Seeing a bear in the wild is a special treat for any visitor to the national park, the agency said. While it's an exciting moment, it is important to remember that bears in national parks are wild and can be dangerous. Instead of trying to serve your friend or former one up as bait, the Park Service says there are several methods that you can take to help you and your friend escape the bear safely. They're just telling me, like, this is a way to get away with murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, oh, don't do this or your friend will get eaten for sure. And they're wild and dangerous. I don't really like this line. I feel like it's bad journalism, Bob. But this line says, bear may seem harmless and cute, but it's more important to note that they are in fact wild animals and their behavior is sometimes unpredictable. Bear attacks are rare, but they do occur, inflicting serious injuries and death. Now, Bob, we are not known this is not an intellectual podcast. There's not co-members of Mensa and listeners. We don't share a Venn diagram with those people. But never in my mind has crossed like, oh, that bear seems harmless and cute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's never been, like most bear encounters end without injury. Following some basic guidelines may help lessen the threat of the danger. The biggest thing is, I'm going to push Bobby down. No questions asked. Bobby is going to run in a separate direction from me, but only if I have, not that I'll be able to push him down. That's the key. He's going to be able to push me down. I'm going to be able to outrun him. That's the easy money there. If he wants, he'll just toss me to the bear. The bear won't even have to move. He may even befriend Bobby and think this guy will toss me other humans. But if
we've learned one thing, the best course of action is just to give the bear some cocaine, and that'll distract him long enough for you.
I've heard that it's not the best course of action, though.
Well, while he's doing the cocaine, you'll have some time to get away. You just don't want to be there after. You don't. Yeah,
he'll just.
You don't want to be there
down.
after he's in. You don't want to be there after he's partaken in the cocaine.
So, Bob, let me tell you, so I don't have to push you down, what you need to do. You need to talk calmly to the bear. You need to stand your ground and slowly wave your arms to identify yourself that you're a human. They're not aware that you're a human until you wave. That's exclusively a human thing. Other animals, no waving. That's us. Remain calm. Remain calm and talk to the bear in low tones that are non-threatening. A scream or sudden movement may trigger attack, which makes sense. I mean, you walk up to somebody and you just scream, they're going to jump. So don't do it to a bear. They recognize your human hands. If you have small children with you, pick them up immediately. It does not say toss the children. That was what I was thinking.
Didn't know where I was going.
This is where I was thinking, oh, okay, you don't push your friend because you have a small child with you. You just sacrifice that small child. Even if it's not, preferably if it's not a child you're responsible for. If you're not going to have any questions asked of you later and you see a kid, toss that kid to the bear and then call him a liar if he says that you tossed him to a bear. Hike and travel in groups, as bears often become aware of groups and people and can get intimidated. I think that, you know what that sounds like, Bob? Just sounds like more people to push. We're bettering our odds here. Carrie, EPA approved peppery spray that can be used to stop aggressive bears. Some other suggestions: no food, don't give them food. Don't drop your bag or pack. Don't turn your back on the bear. Keep some eye contact. They find it rude. Okay. They have a very specific culture that, you're in their home. You're supposed to be friendly. Don't climb trees because grizzlies and black bears can climb too. And never put yourself in between a mother bear and her cub or try to approach them because the mother will likely attack you if she considers you a threat. Again, that was something that, again, I feel our group knew. Maybe it is something that needed to be said. So this is one of those jokes of the weeks where I think the person, the National Park Service, you're being a joke. I mean, I say do anything you can do to get away from a bear attack.
Yeah.
And that's just me. And that's not advice or anything, because I'm not a park ranger. They probably know better than me. But are you 100%, Bob? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely wild. A great find for this week. For pop culture this week, we are talking about Mando season 3 premiere. I have not yet seen it, but I have seen the trailer for it. I'm super excited. What are your thoughts on it? With no spoilers.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the direction they're going. Obviously, at the end of Mando 2 and or Boba Fett, which we have talked spoiler on about. He's on his quest to become a Mandalorian again. He's taken his helmet off. The only way for this particular sect of Mandalorians to the evangelical Mandalorians that will only accept the original creed is to bathe in the mines of Mandalore, some sort of water in the mines of Mandalore. If you can bring home proof, you can bring proof you've done that. He's good to go. So essentially, that is what we're looking at. We get to see a little bit of our boy Carl Weathers. So that's always fun. But super good. I liked it. I really liked it. So I'm interested to see what they kind of do with it. They kind of set up. We get to see Bo-Katan again. So
nice.
Very, very interesting. But yeah, just definitely get out and watch it. I'm super excited for the season to end and us to get a good discussion on it.
Oh yeah. And it takes us into our questions from the internet, which is Pedro Pascal is removed from all his roles except one. What's he starring in for you? For me, that's an easy one for me. I think that's Mandalorian for me. Okay. I think he makes that show. Yeah. I think that it's easily Mandalorian.
It is. This is so tough. I think that your answer is probably what I would land on. But I want to say, I mean, he is the Red Viper to me. He's just not there enough in Game of Thrones to warrant keeping him over his other stuff. Narcos, he was so great. I think that somebody else probably could have done that role, potentially.
Yeah.
Mandalorian is probably the right answer. But we don't know that it's Pedro Pascal quite a bit of the time. I'm actually going to go with The Last of Us, man. I have really enjoyed him in The Last of Us. And I may in a few years regret that answer. But if this kind of progresses the way that I think it will, I think he's the perfect. So I don't really know how they'll set it up. I kind of know some potential spoilers for it. So I may end up hating this. I think Mandalorian will probably go down in history as his greatest role and just the one that. Oh, yeah. But since you're keeping that, I'll come over to your house and watch his Mandalorian, and you can come over and watch The Last of Us. I don't know. I just feel like I could find somebody if you were seeing Pedro Pascal and his emotional ability to act everywhere the whole time in Mandalorian. I mean, that even comes through when you're not seeing his face and what he's doing. I just feel like similar writing, similar style, somebody else could bring the Mandalorian to life as well. Yeah, that's just me. Just me.
I'm trying to think who though, and honestly, like nothing really comes.
It is really, it is really hard. I'm really fighting against myself, thinking he really does have that unique.
Like,
feel
imagine if they took off that helmet for the first time, and it was like,
it was Gary Busey.
Jackman.
It was Gary Busey. No, see, okay, all right. Let's play that game. They take the helmet off the first time, and it's
Oh,
I mean,
man.
let. I mean,
Yeah, okay. We
All right, here
we
we
saw
go.
him in the show. Timothy Oliphant.
Yes and no.
But also no. Yeah.
Yes, I feel like he would do okay, but Timothy Oliphant has this air about him where,
Yeah.
I just feel like he would. Oh, Oliphant's personality would overtake the role to me, and that would just become
Yeah.
a Timothy Oliphant character rather than Pedro Pascal. Like almost becomes the Mandalorian. Like when you watch him in something, it just feels like he is the perfect person for that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense.
I mean, I think Hugh Jackman with the right makeup could play that role, but he's also much
Yeah.
older.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit too old. I mean, I think there are people that could pull it off. I think the problem is we've seen Pedro in it already. I mean, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
I think at this point it would probably be easier to have replaced him in The Last of Us and I think it would probably be easier to cast him in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
When it comes to that emotional acting type of, once
Idris
his
Elba,
face is
maybe?
showing. As the Mandalorian or in The
Mandalorian.
Last of Us? I don't
Honestly, either.
I don't
I'd be
know.
okay with.
He's got a lot of gravitas. He's got.
Yeah.
You know who they talked about? What is it? Ali Mahushala. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
That's who they talked about for Joel. Mahushala Ali.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Am I saying that right? It's Mahershala.
I think so.
Mahershala.
I mean,
Ali.
he's already in the universe, but like Oscar Isaac wouldn't be a horrible pick for Mando.
No.
Maybe Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't know that I could feel.
I mean, I Michael Fassbender,
Phoenix.
perhaps.
No, I think that you've convinced me.
At this point, I'm throwing just like stuff at the wall. Okay, maybe Javier Bardem.
I'm gonna give me just a sec for a little recon. Nah. I think now thinking about it, I think you made the right choice. He is Mandalorian. I was trying to be different and it backfired, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm literally going through like even the people who I think, they could replace, and none of these people really could. What's his name? I can't remember the guy's name right now. The guy who played Negan in Walking Dead. Like possibly, but even him.
I mean, there's lots of people, there's lots of people that would have done really great things with the role. I mean, so they would have done different things, and there may have been some of these people that you've named that would have made it their own, and you could never see anybody else outside of it. But I think that they got it right, and now saying that, it would seem to be hard to fill his shoes. Just in that particular role. I think that if we started over with Mahershala Ali in The Last of Us, I think it could still do fine because the game is being adapted. The people that need to be in the room are in the room. I will tell you this, Bob. I'm glad that this is a questions from the internet and a hypothetical, because you know what that means, that we don't have to choose. We can just get him and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move into what are you binging? The wife and I finally sat down. We've started Andor. It was rough getting through the first couple episodes.
It's very slow.
But now I think we're on like episode 8, I think. Where Cassian he's locked up now.
I never finished.
He's locked up now.
I think I finished about where you were. Honestly, man, it's a great show, but it's makes me sleepy, dude. I like go to sleep. I
tried to binge like 4 episodes the other night, but
you can't,
Megan kept falling
dude.
asleep during it.
Yeah,
So
you
like
gotta watch
I think we did 2
one, 2 at a time.
episodes, and I was like, all right, yeah, we're gonna. And so, but no, I mean, I'm liking it. It is very slow. Apparently, it does speed up. It's one of those
It
shows where
does,
like
yeah.
they kind of just like they speed up towards the end. But I mean, yeah. But what about you? Dude?
I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it for you, Bob. Andor dies at some point.
Oh,
I don't want you. I just don't want you to get like jazzed up for season 2, dude. He's gonna die.
Yeah.
So, ever heard of a little chick named Jen Erso? No, probably not. Okay. So what I've been binging, honestly, it's weird because there's so many things that I'm watching right now. It's been a long time since I've had this many shows that I'm trying to like watch week to week. The Last of Us, Survivor is out, so I'm watching, Survivor. Ted Lasso's about to come out. Mandalorian's coming out. I mean, I'm getting Pedro Pascal doses all over the place. But so what we've been binging is Big Brother 9. Stephanie and I, I've been trying to watch back through all the Big Brothers. Only became a fan more recently. So, Big Brother 9, it's all right. It's okay. I already know the winner, and it's very interesting to already know the winner. 'Cause you're like, how, you know what I'm saying? Like if you just imagine like all seasons and you just knew the winner, how did this happen? But it's still one of those things that knowing the winner doesn't really matter because the journey is really what you're watching, how it gets there, how it happens. You go from somebody being like, oh, I would never believe that they would be able to win to like, okay, they got a little game to them. So yeah, watching a little Big Brother, along with all these other week-to-week shows.
Nice. Let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right. I didn't write anything down, but I do have one from last night, which was, we went to a concert last night, and listen, as someone who worked as a bouncer, there are times that you can play around and times that you don't. And sometimes, a lot of times, I find that bouncers play around too fucking much. We walk up, I show my ID, and, my sister-in-law, she's like, hey, can I show you a digital ID? I just ordered a new one. It's on the way, but here's a digital. She's 28. And he's like, all he goes is, eh. And it's like, is that a yes or a no? He's like, eh. And he's like, yeah, show it to me. And then she's like, okay, here you go. And he's like, I'm going to have to put an X on your hands. And she's like, really? And he's like, nah, I'm just playing with you.
All right,
and
bro.
it's like, all right, man,
like,
there's a line behind us. Like, let's go already, dude. Like,
right.
Come on, bro. Like,
this isn't me talking to you when like I'm going to the smoking section, dude. Like where you can play with me. Don't play with me. I don't like people. It reminds me of that Chappelle Show skit. I don't like people playing on my phone. When keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah.
So mine is, and it's not actually a lot of these are not truly like, oh, I'm super mad about it. But mine is more of a request. It's I went to our boys Sassa's and Neely's little engagement party thing on Saturday night. And they told us, had a little bar outside and they had drinks named after the dogs. So when I went out there to get one of the drinks named after the dogs, because that's dope, I find that it's a Stokes, and I read the ingredients, is an old fashioned, and the Newt is the ingredients is a margarita. These are already named drinks. You don't get to co-opt a drink name and name your own drinks in my mind. I don't know if that's correct or I should be upset or I should be, my mind, you're naming a drink. It's got to be a new drink. What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I 100% agree. If you're going to come up with a new drink name, change it some way.
Exactly.
Or call it like a Newt margarita or something like that.
See, I could get on board with that. Newt's margarita. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But this ain't a Newt. A Newt would be something very specific. And Newt is a wild dog. A Newt would be a Red Bull vodka with meth in it or something. You know, a little speed sprinkled in. That would be the Newt in my mind. Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure that I had a right to be up in arms about this. I'm gonna text him and call
a Newt is already a drink.
Please do share.
A Newt is already a drink. It's sugar, ginger ale, pineapple juice, water, 1 pound of grapes washed and stemmed and crushed, and then 1 package of Kool-Aid.
That just sounds like no alcohol, though. That's just
Oh, it says here you can add vodka or rum.
Okay, I was
At
going
the
to
end.
say,
Like it says it's like here's the base, and they give you like the alcohol-free version as well.
Bobby, you just got me more riled up, brother. So not only are you co-opting a margarita's name, but you're lying about it. You're lying about it. That's not a Newt. If I'd have ordered a Newt and you'd have given me a margarita, I did stick with the Stokes all night. I old-fashioned it all night. But I'm riled up, Bobs. I'm real riled up about this. So we may not be going to New Orleans. I may end my friendship with Sass over this. So no, I'm just kidding. We'll definitely go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Not about the friendship thing. It's over.
But all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you all again next week. For Brandon, I'm Bobby. This has been Pucks Out Podcast. We'll see you all again next time.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.